But no, if you kill the Cow King, you cannot open it again on that difficulty. You could go up to, like, if you kill the Cow King in normal, you could go up and do it on Nightmare, for example. Still. Or if you killed him on Nightmare, you could go do it on normal. But as far as, yeah. Telekinesis. I would like teleport on one of these things. Slain monsters rest in peace is not bad, but then our guy wouldn't be able to leech life by just existing. Actually, what does Snake Cord have on it? Vitality based on character level. Okay. And this is another Nagel Ring. Yay! We already have 2 of them. So we don't need another one. And let's see. Upright. And there's the little branch off into the next area. Yeah. I don't like traversing the jungle very much. I know some people love it, but I like the aesthetic. I don't like the ziggy-zaggy you have to go through it. Any other monster you shouldn't kill? No. It is worth noting that your first kill on something you do want to have, if possible. Like, a lot of times it's not possible because, well, being new, you don't have a lot of gear and stuff like that, but you would like to have more magic find the first time you kill, like, an act boss or one of the properly named super uniques. Like Pindleskin, Thresh Socket, stuff like that. Because they have a boosted drop pool the first time you kill them. Whereas most of the enemies don't. But yeah, Cow King is the only one that locks you off of stuff if you kill them. And it is perfectly fine to go back with Magic Find and farm bosses, even without the initial bonus. It's just you have a better chance. Let's see. Do I want Lower Cuirass Waypoint? Probably not. I don't plan on doing anything with it. So we're just looking for a Zeval. A Lance? No. And I have a feeling it's going to be up. But no, Cow King is the only one that locks you off, and just as a heads up, you can get Cow Set without killing the Cow King. You can get it from normal cows, it's just a lower drop rate. It's a cow level kind of exclusive thing, but... bonk. There we go. Cow level... generally, I wouldn't recommend cow level farming for anything other than possibly charms and white items. Cows are not... they're kind of mediocre on experience. You're actually better off doing Bale runs with experience if you can actually get through Bale relatively quickly. So... Cleaver, Firestorm, all... oh, yeah, we have seen that one, haven't we? Although that is reasonable damage. That's more than... oh, that is... a lot more damage. Do we want the life tap is the question. Now. This gives us better resists. We don't have the plus zeal anymore. Oh no, what do we do with 1 skill point left? Less. Although, this actually has +1 all skills. That's just a good weapon. Minimum poison damage, minimum fire damage. The poison damage one is kind of confusing on this because it doesn't give me a duration on it. So that's kind of a little bit weird one. Dexterity, so we can actually play around with this before we switch over to the axe. We're going to get rid of you. Because the axe is just going to be more fun. I'm so glad that that didn't have sockets in it. I didn't even think about it. That is our book right there. I'll go ahead and do the book. We got stabby-stabbies going on. Let's stabby-stabby down here. We'll go through Mephisto with stabby-stabby, and then we'll switch over to the actual good thing. And yes, Zeal works with daggers. Zeal works with any melee attack. Bonk. Angelic Wings. Does it actually have a bonus with... I don't know if it has a bonus with the other thing. Doesn't really have good stats in and of itself, so I'm not going to bother with it. We currently have, what? Plus 12 all skills. Not bad. Runewords you should use for an upgrade to Malice. It kind of depends on whether you're talking about for a player or for a mercenary. Malice is actually a really good mercenary weapon because they have a passive heal that outpaces it. But there's our tome. Grab it. Combat skill, Zeal. Yay. But yeah, where you go from, like, on upgrades really just depends on your build as well. Malice is just a good kind of, like, base to go for if you're just doing some melee builds. I'm assuming you're still going melee. Chances are you're better off looking for a good rare or unique as a follow-up to it, unless you get lucky and find something like a lightsaber or a... And it also depends on whether you're using two-hand or one-handed. There's a lot of options. I'm a big fan of Malice Flail on a lot of builds, just as kind of like a placeholder. Let's see, go there. If you got like elemental damage, like a caster or something like that, Spirit is good. Of course, you're not going to be using Malice on a caster usually, but there are some variants that actually do have some overlap there. Like the Enchantress and stuff like that can actually get away with that early on. I should play a low-level Enchantress, see what kind of goes through on that. It's been a long time since I did. I'm not sure I'd actually have the Intestinal Fortitude, too. So we got the book. Kind of don't want to go down into the sewers until I have a waypoint up here. We could just go get Travancore and then come back. Oh, there's a waypoint. Yay! Now I don't have to go all the way up. Getting waypoints is kind of important. So let's duck in here. Sewers level 1. Yay! Hey, and we've got it just right here to the left. Oh, you bastards, draining all my stamina. 2 broadswords, 1 with Malice and 1 with Spirit. Okay. Ah, so you have ladder runewords enabled. And you're going to be playing a Sword Barbarian. For Sword Barbarian, the ultimate upgrade, I'd probably say Grief Phase Blade would be your first big investment. It doesn't look impressive on paper, but it is one of the best swords in the game. You weren't able to find a crystal sword. A broadsword is a good alternative. For my spirits, if I'm usually doing spirits, I'll do broadsword or crystal sword because they're fairly low requirement, and I usually have enough strength to get them. Main thing I avoid for my spirits is a dexterity requirement, because I don't usually invest in dexterity unless I am specifically building something that needs block for PvE. So let's go with a little bit more dexterity there. I say as I dump into dexterity. So we're looking good. Level 60, quest log. We've got the... yeah, we got the brain, didn't we? Yeah, we did. No, we got the heart. Derp. My mind's not in the gutter, I swear. So we need to go get ourselves the flail and we're good. But yeah, 4-socket. By the way, funnily enough, just as a heads up, if you're ever looking for another 4-socket sword, Act 1 and Act 2 Nightmare, just farm stuff like Fallens and stuff like that, or you could, if you're far enough along, you could kill Nightmare cows, and just look for, well, actually I would say stick out of cows and Nightmare, but if you find a white broadsword or a white not phase blade, a crystal sword in Nightmare and take it to Larzuk, it'll socket to 4 sockets. If you find it in normal, it'll socket to 3. If you find it in hell, I forget the max amount on the broadsword, but the crystal sword will socket to 6 if you find it in hell. Because the eye level that they drop at kind of limits the number of sockets they have. So it does hard limit it in Nightmare to 4 sockets. That's why you had to find your spirit and stuff like, I mean, your swords and stuff in Nightmare difficulty with 4 sockets. But yeah, if you are going to be doing a lot of grinding, I can 100% recommend the Grief Phase Blade, which is relatively easy to get. Relatively. It's not the easiest ever, but it's cheaper than a lot of other rune words. It's cheaper than Death even, so... Which is kind of funny, because Grief is generally held in higher regard than Death. But that should probably be the rune word you're aiming for at the very end. Lawbringer's not bad as a kind of intermediary. If you don't have the stuff for Grief. I'm trying to think what other rune words... There's... Crescent Moon's not bad either. Crescent Moon might be where you'd want to go next. Maybe go Malice, Crescent Moon, or Crescent Moon. I'm not sure you'd want to stick with Spirit long term, but it is a good just general use sword. It's not a lot of damage, and a lot of people are like, "Ah, you shouldn't use it for physical attack." It's good plus skills. It's an Isle. You're far from Grief, yeah. Look at a Crescent Moon, probably. You should be able to get those runes relatively, I say relatively easy. It's not gonna just like pop up overnight, but Crescent Moon is a decent, it's a 3 socket. I would recommend Phase Blade for it. Usually I'd either say either Phase Blade, or if you can't get a Phase Blade for it, which Phase Blades only drop in Hell difficulty. If you can't get a Phase Blade for it, I would say probably go for... trying to think what the exceptional one is. Probably something with minus... I'd say at least minus 10 on its speed rating, so it'd be a very fast weapon. Cool. Yeah, I'd probably go for a very fast weapon, very fast sword. With 3 sockets in it. Exceptional or elite. So you're down to grind in D2? Okay. And if you happen to be playing online, trading for a lot of this stuff will make it a lot easier to get. None of this stuff is interesting to me. I feel a sneeze coming on. And so apologies. Let's go ahead and smoosh that. Smashy, smashy. But yeah, Crescent Moon is going to be probably your intermediary between Malice and Grief if you're looking specifically for rune words. There are uniques that you can use as well as kind of intermediaries too. Oh, and I keep forgetting, we are on Players 8. I need to not be challenging those guys head on because they will explode and kill me. Even with what I've got. Oh, geez, so many of you. Fight the mercenary. Watch one of them kill me through the wall. Go, mercenary, go! He does decent damage. I'm trying to think what unique swords and stuff like that. Lawbringer should be relatively easy to get though as well as an intermediary if you can't get a good Crescent Moon sword. Crescent Moon needs speed is the important thing about it. Lawbringer is kind of like speed helps, but you can get away without it. Dwarf Star is strange, but not really that useful unless we're going physical damage, and I think this might be higher? No, it doesn't have... Oh, yeah, it does. It has 210... No, enhanced defense, sorry. We'll keep that. We're not going caster because I don't want to kind of bypass, just go plus skills and just bypass all the challenge in this. Of course, we are sort of bypassing all the challenge currently. Another option, if you can get an elite, like berserker, a magic berserker axe, by the way. And for some reason that ruby reminded me of it. If you can get just any old magic berserker axe, or some of the throwing axes can actually be halfway decent as well, because their speed. I really don't want to kill those guys next to me, so I'm just gonna run from them. Is to make a blood axe. Crafted items are often overlooked. Outside of, like, key items, blood gloves are one of the more popular ones. Caster, amulets. I'm trying to think what else. There's a handful. But blood axes are often overlooked, and if you're willing to go with axes for a while, they're a good intermediary as well. Like using one of your skill resets to switch over to axe instead of sword, and then switch back to sword once you have the better stuff. And yes, it is possible to reset skills by farming bosses, because you'll get... If you've ever killed... They only drop in Hell, so I don't know if you've gotten far enough, but in Hell difficulty, Andariel and Duriel drop one set of dust. Then you have a dust for Mephisto, a dust for Diablo, and a dust for Baal. That one combined in the cube give you a token of absolution, which lets you reset your character, just like talking to, just like doing the Den of Evil quest. So I'm just dodging everything, because I really don't want to fight these little guys. These guys are nasty. Womp. And learning to juke around stuff is a fairly useful skill as well. You're an Act 5 Nightmare? Okay. So you haven't gotten to the dust yet. Spoilers. Sorry. It's not that big of a spoiler. It's just telling you don't be too worried about the skill resets. If you're going to be grinding a lot, like if you're going to be grinding bosses a lot, you'll get plenty of them. God knows I have a ton of them. I think I have something like... I think I have over 40 tokens of absolution right now. Just sitting there. And that's just because I haven't bothered crafting the dust down. Ouch. Oh, you guys are fine for me to fight. I just don't want to fight the little dudes. The little dudes. Because they explode. I hate the little explodey guys. That's why I'm just running past them. I can kill them whenever there's fleshies nearby that I can leech off of, but they're still, meh. Wow. We are just not doing good at finding our way down. A little trick here, by the way, and you may notice I'm kind of doing it, but the layout of here is not very cooperative. Is always stick around the edges of the map, because that's where your stairs and stuff are always going to be. The middle of the map is not going to have anything unless you're doing gold chest runs. And even then, it's usually not in the middle of the map. It's usually on the edge. This is... I know that. I knew that was a dead end. Why did I even go in there? It can't spawn in that room. Because it has to spawn on the northeast side or the... yeah. For your armor... Generally speaking, if I'm going, like... If I'm going into Hell difficulty, just pure economy, I frankly am fine with just Duress. D-U-R-E-S-S, I think is how it's spelled. If you can get an rune, you can actually... It's good resist, it's got crushing blow, and whenever you finally get something better, like shaft stop or something like that, which you can get in Nightmare as well. We got our whirlwind thing again. But yeah, Duress will last you until you get something like your shaft stop or something like that that has damage reduction and all that kind of fun, lovely stuff. You probably will not get an Enigma for a very long time, but that's what people usually recommend. So Fortitude or Enigma for your later ones, for your like late game, are both really good armors. There's also... I'm trying to remember the name of the one that I've... Chains of Honor. There we go. Is the other one. That's your, like, late endgame kind of armor. But before that, it's Duress and a number of the exceptional unique armors, like Shaft Stop, Skin of the Viper Magi, anything that gives you physical damage reduction. Leviathan is actually halfway decent. A lot of people kind of forget about that one. If you're still on normal difficulty, you can get, not Rock Stopper. Crap, I'm forgetting the name. It's a Field Plate. It gives you strength and damage reduction. And it's pretty solid. And ouch, I actually need to... we're going to kill Mephisto with this. I said I was going to kill him with it. Well, I'll just run out of durability on it as we're fighting him and just have to punch him to death. That's for your body armor. There are concerns about your gloves and stuff like that as well. But most of the really good stuff that you can use is kind of like your mid-level stuff before you get the final, like, end game, finish everything off kind of gear, is going to be your Nightmare unique armors. In fact, I'm trying to think, most of the elite armors are kind of junk. They're so hard to find that it's not really useful for most builds by the time you finally get them. Whereas the exceptional ones, you can get them from, like, Mephisto. So, we're swapping that out now, unfortunately. The dagger don't do. I put all those points into dexterity just to mess around with that. But Duress is also a really good one to make. And Crescent Moon, Duress, Spirit, Insight, and... I'm trying to remember the name of the shield. There's the Spirit Shield, of course, that's always good. Those are kind of like the things that I make as soon as possible whenever I'm just starting from scratch, just so I can have them kind of transferred between characters. They're just consistently good items. Grief is a consistently good item as well, but it's a little bit more expensive. Let's go... I think we'll go northeast this time. Yeah, we'll go around clockwise. And there's, of course, probably some things I'm forgetting. Duriel's Shell is decent. That is probably on the lower end of the exceptional armors, but it's got good enough bonuses on it that it's gonna carry you. It can carry you through hell if you find it. Now, hell difficulty is not going to be easy by any means, even if you get all this stuff, especially on your first time playing through. But it helps, makes things more reasonable. That said, I have had someone say, "Oh, all this advice is bad," and then I find out they're saying it's bad because it doesn't just completely stomp without thinking in Players 8 hell difficulty. And for Players 8 hell difficulty, generally speaking, you need top tier gear. That's should be understood. Players 8 is basically meant to be beaten by 8 players. There are some places that are kind of jank even on Players 1. Though, so let's see. Where else do we go in here? Bonk. Yeah, we're just kind of like chewing through all these things. It's fine. For gloves and stuff like that, oddly enough, Blood Fist is something people overlook for gloves. Especially for like a barbarian and stuff like that. Faster hit recovery can be sort of important. And that's a good source of it, and because it also gives you increased attack speed. Blade Buckle is often overlooked as well for like normally unique belts. Are they endgame stuff? No. But they're really, really strong intermediary items that a lot of people often ignore. So, ring-wise, just for a Frenzy Barbarian, just Leech. Leech resists and Strength. If you can get it, attack rating is nice as well. For other characters, it kind of varies. Sorceresses obviously want faster cast on their rings. You can gamble dual leech rings, but you need to be a little bit higher level. And of course, we went clockwise, and it's just right here on the left, right by where we were. Oh, let's dart across here. Might regret this. We'll see. Since we're looking for Izzy, might as well keep going like this. Let's see. And now we can start getting the plus skillers grand charms, by the way. I generally wouldn't, like, yeah, a charm is better than no charm. So early on, pick up all the charms you can get. But after you've been playing for a while, you'll find that, generally speaking, you're not going to be picking up grand charms unless it is after Act 3 Nightmare. Because small charms, for the most part, per slot, are going to end up being better. Chain Lightning on striking, increase attack speed, increase chance of blocking. Inferno strength. That is interesting. I think I still prefer this. Yeah, your inventory is full. You'll find as you start getting further in, you'll be like, okay, I have found, let's say I have a grand charm with 20% resist cold. I find a small charm with 6. The grand charm would be better in that case, but yeah. Ooh, got another flawless diamond. We're one away from actually being able to upgrade like Lenimo.
How can one who was once so holy fall so far from righteousness?
I just made a horrible example. Let's say you had a grand charm with 15% resist cold, and you found a small one with 6. It may be worthwhile to hold on to that one with 6 for whenever you can use it to replace the grand charm, which is giving you 5 per slot versus this small charm, which is giving you 6. So identify. Nope. And nope. Our gloves are just too dang good. Hey, that's a weird Saracens chance. So we can keep our conviction, but we lose our enemy lightning resist reduction. But this is actually better, because conviction can override that stuff. So if we go fanaticism with this, we're good. This doesn't have enhanced damage on it, does it? Nope. Interesting. We'll keep that. We'll use it after we switch over to fanaticism. And more life, because why not? I need to actually swap to that. I just didn't even realize that I had Zeal on my secondary for the longest time. Yeah, you'll find that, generally speaking, your inventory is going to be full of charms. You could go completely full on it. Some people do. There's people who magic find without scrolls or anything like that, and they literally just carry their cube with them to dump stuff into, and they never empty their inventory of charms. So you end up with, I want to say, 36 slots of charms. I have a document somewhere on my computer that breaks down which one's most efficient for which thing. There are situations where large charms are more efficient, where small charms are more efficient, and where grand charms are more efficient. That is definitely a tough decision. That's one reason why I recommend new players get Gomule, especially. That way, as you're playing through, generally, as a new player, if you're playing like just an hour or two at a time, you're not going to completely fill up on items. And just use Gomule to kind of like pull it off. At least you're not going to fill up with items in one game session. So you'll exit the game with the character and then be able to... Oh god, that's a lot of damage for a wand.
Impossible.
But let's go ahead and get this going.
Stay a while and listen.
I'm gonna smash this real quick. Another flawless diamond. So yay, we can actually upgrade our Lenimo if we wanted to. Do I actually want to upgrade that? I think so. Yeah, I think we do. It's 400% enhanced damage. So let's do that real quick. At least I think this is the formula for it.